As much as Cho wanted to, she had to fight her natural urges to throw Luna down in front of the fire, spreading her legs and diving in. She had to get Luna to bed before anyone came down and discovered them.
She firmed her hold of Luna and started to make their way to the bedrooms. As they reached the top of the stairs, Cho leant Luna against the balcony as she opened the door and led to the bedrooms. She slowly guided Luna up the steps into the room that she shared with a number of other girls. Cho, worried about waking the other girls, made an extra effort to be quiet.
The girls arrived at Luna's bed. Cho needed to pull the covers back and sort her pillows. She couldn't just dump Luna naked on her bed, and she also couldn't sit her in a chair, what with the rather wet legs, feet, and dribbling pussy.
Of course, naturally.
Duh! She leant Luna against the wall again and straightened her bed, pulling the curtains round to give her some privacy.
Cho noticed her sheets were already quite soaked. She put her nose to the sheets. It smelled amazing, quite musky. As she took a deep breath, rubbing her nose and lips against the wet sheets, it was clearly the same juice that she'd sampled earlier downstairs when she slid her fingers between Luna's slit.
Why are you getting the worst ones? The last thing Cho wanted to do right now was put Luna to bed and go back to her own room severely unsatisfied, but she didn't have a choice. Cho couldn't see any pajamas, and she didn't fancy her chances of dressing a rather wet, sleepwalking Luna without waking someone else up.
She grabbed a hold of Luna and guided her over to the bed, sitting her down on the edge. Cho quickly bent down to grab her legs to swing them into the bed, but caught sight and smell of Luna's very moist, cute slit. And the smell was so strong. Cho felt the warmth emanating from it, and she couldn't resist any longer.
Cho looked around to see that the other girls were still sleeping soundly and that Luna wasn't awake.
What the fuck?
He is literally getting the worst paragraphs in the entire thing.
Cho dropped to her knees to take her chance while she still could. She softly wrapped her lips around Luna and pushed her entire tongue against the length of her undercarriage.
Undercarriage?
She massaged it, running it up and down the smooth, tight opening, lapping up every drop she found. Cho continued licking and drinking away for a few seconds longer and then forced herself away with a shudder.
She knew she had to stop, but she had to go back for one last thing. Thrusting her nose as deep as she could inside Luna's wet slit, inhaling deeply and rubbing around it like a curious dog, coating her face in the juices that were flowing from Luna.
Oh my God. Cho reluctantly pulled back and stopped. That was her fun over for the night, but so incredibly worth it.
She took hold of Luna's very wet feet and lifted them into bed. How much moisture is this girl generating right now?
She has a faucet.
Okay. And lifted them into bed. She made Luna comfortable, covering her up and taking one last look. Hoping it wasn't the last time she'd get to see Luna's cute naked body, she pulled the curtain round to give her some privacy and made her way up to bed after you just molested her.
Pretty much. Her face was still covered in Luna's juices. Fucking disgusting. Cho licked her lips and rubbed it all over her face. Quivering as she went getting goosebumps all over her body.
As Cho got to her bedroom, she felt her pajama bottoms were soaked from front to back. She couldn't sleep in them. She felt so horny and naughty that she decided to take a leaf out of Luna's book and stripped herself. She flung her pajama top aside and peeled her bottoms off, watching them come away from her soaking crotch. She turned them inside out and rubbed the wet patch against her naked chest, taking a quick taste of the soggiest area. She then proudly put them out for display on the chair next to her bed for all to see in the morning, which gave her a rush of excitement.
So she took her own vaginal juices, wiped them on her breasts, then ate some of it, and then left her dirty juice-covered pajamas out on purpose for the rest of Ravenclaw to see when they leave in the morning. I'd beat her, if I was Ravenclaw, I'd beat her ass. Clean up your vagina pajamas. She climbed into bed naked and still producing a considerable amount of juice. She left the curtains open on the off chance that the other girls would wake up to see her in all her glory, should the covers come off at all.
Cho lay there with one hand between her legs, gently rubbing away at her wet opening and thinking of Luna as she drifted off to sleep. You know the funny thing about that? That is not even close to the worst fanfiction I have ever read.
That one was pretty gross.
It was pretty tame. I mean, you may think it was gross. Oh my god. Don't look up erotic fanfiction of anything. It will spoil you. It will give you nightmares.
We'd like to thank Nympho HP.
Thank you, Nympho HP, for that.
Read her other fanfictions. I'm sure they're great.
Anyway, we're Stephsboys. We hope that turned you on.
So like, subscribe, take a look at our other videos. We have normal things on here too.
And thank you. See you later.
Bye.
God.
Throw things at the...
Reminds me of Minute Maid with all the juices in that.
I know. It's disgusting.